for some reason, when you're in the industry, they feel this is my guess. It's because it's constantly so attacked already from the outside that they feel like they can't scrutinize their own, because then it gives them less credibility, but it's actually the opposite. It's like by not calling out bad behavior, you're actually proving everyone else's bad faith in the industry itself. So it's kind of it is your responsibility to say something if you see something or something that's not above board when you are within said industry. And I remember people coming to the defense, and they're like, oh, because these numbers are real on the other sites. Like as the reporting goes, there's statistically more illegal content on Facebook than there is on these tube sites. But the difference is that they are actively reporting it and they're trying to do something about it, where this other company, their entire business model was you can just upload anything with no consent. And I remember, I don't know if it was Pornhub or if it was someone that worked there or with one of their sister companies, but they were saying, no, we verify all people. We have forms, we do the 2257s, and we do an ID check. And then I responded and I was like, well, actually, that's not true, because you have so much of my content that is pirated and that I shot myself. You didn't know, like, and it could have been non-consensual. You don't know when I shot it. Yeah, you have my ID from these other things, but you not for this particular thing. You don't know, again, like the date it was filmed. So there are question marks. So if you did that with me, I know you're not doing that with like Jill from Louisiana who has uploading something. So let's not pretend that there were safeguards there, because there definitely weren't. There are now, which is good. So that's a huge step in the right direction. Where do you see the industry of tube sites going? Because like I'm a firm advocate for paywalls. I think that is one way to
Mhm.
hope that the person on the other end is 18, right? You have a debit card or a credit card that you're usually 18 to have. So it's like one, it's just like an extra barrier. So it's like
Right.
one, it's not obviously foolproof, but it's something. So I do think that there should be paywalls. I don't like being able to scroll and just see something explicit. And I come from that industry, right? Like I don't want that on my page. Like I unfollow people that do that because I'm like, that's not for me. So I do think that there should be a paywall. Like where do you see the future of tube
Yeah.
sites going?
Yeah. Well, really quick to your previous point too, and then I'll go there as well. But one of the things that's detailed in the book was this kind of evolution of so many different people coming together, and some of the most important people that helped over the last 4 years were in the porn industry,
Hmm.
or actually, porn performers who had said, like you just mentioned, that they were spending hours a day scouring MindGeek's tube sites, trying to find their stolen content to
And they
put
don't take it down still, even with,
for their
yeah,
takedown, right? And then it would get re-uploaded the next day. So
yep.
like, I do tell a conversation I had with early on with a porn performer. She's like, shut them the fuck down. I'm so mad. Like
Mhm.
I'm so sick of MindGeek doing this. And they built their empire on stolen and pirated content. And they were, as they were looking on YouPorn and PornTube and Tube8, because they own like so many of these porn tube sites. But on Pornhub, they were finding clearly illegal content, children, rape
Oof.
victims, unconscious. I mean, unconscious to the point where their bodies are totally limp. They're not pretending, they're totally limp. The perpetrators are touching the eyeballs of, to prove that they're unresponsive, things like that. And, sending me these links because they're as disturbed by it as anybody else. And they don't want to be associated with it. But one thing I did notice was, a lot of them were coming privately to me to help and to express support. And hundreds, if not thousands of them were actually signing and sharing the trafficking hub petition, probably under some anonymous names as well. But they were afraid of speaking publicly against MindGeek because of their control over the industry. And they felt
Mhm,
like they could be blacklisted,
mhm,
they could be, their career and their livelihood could be destroyed if they
mhm.
went against the dominant company. And so I think there was a fear, but,
But that's
to
such bullshit, and I'll call that out all day because that was my experience, and I got blacklisted for a long time because I was a contract girl for a long time. I That was pretty
Mhm.
much my whole career. So I was with MindGeek most of my career exclusively, and I just saw so much bad behavior. I mean, obviously their company is in Montreal, and the way that everything works in the industry is everything is kind of decentralized, and a lot of that is strategic, right? So if it's
Mhm.
one director that you're hiring as a contractor, you're not really responsible for him and his behavior, yada yada. But there would be just like a ton of bad behavior and no one saying anything, and me being like all of my boundaries completely being disregarded and transgressed. And finally I was like, enough is enough. And if you're doing this to me, who is like someone who gets millions and millions and millions of views and has a huge platform, what are you doing to some girl who has no idea how to say no and no platform to speak up? And I got fired immediately. I got blacklisted from the industry, and I
Wow.
still did the right thing. Like, still do the right thing. Like, don't be a
Mhm.
coward if you see something, and it'll work out. Like, firmly believe that. I believe in fate. I believe that when you do good things come to you. And I think that like doing things out of fear or not doing things out of fear is never the answer. So like
Mhm.
if you're
Mhm.
scared that you're gonna lose your porn job because and you see something illegal happening or it's like coercion or whatever, like shame on you, say something.
Mm.